That's what he comes in like when he shows up. In the middle of your praise, in the times when you don't want to praise. And then there's his presence. The fact that you get outside of your comfort zone and you sit in his presence. You know, the first song we sung about presence, when I sing multiple songs, I can't get it in my head. But we were talking about in his presence, all things are new. Alea pulled on my shirt and she said, that's true, you know. Yes, it is, baby girl. For a little one to know that the presence of God is where the magic happens, shame on us as adults that it takes us a lifetime sometimes to figure that out. In his presence is where everything is changed. Everything becomes undone. We become undone. We no longer see things or our circumstances through our eyes. We are able to see things in God's potential, in God's ability, in God's supernatural provision. We are able to see what God's got going on. We don't like to walk in those things sometimes because we get so stuck in, but what if? Oh my gosh, this thing is so bad. What about? And God says, right here in my presence is where all those things are undone, where you are made whole, here in his presence. We thank you, God, that you are the God of the impossible, that God, you just desire just alone time with us, God, that we can turn off the noise of the world, of our circumstance, of our situation, of the fact that we don't have enough money to survive, of the fact that our kids are upside down, the circumstance that our jobs suck and we have to spend more time there than we do anywhere else. God, that things don't go the way we hoped they would. We don't get the phone call that we wished we did. We do get the phone call that we prayed we never would get. It's in those times, God, that you say, if you just give me your undivided, I will show you my impossible provision, my impossible love, my impossible way making. Lord God, we are so thankful that we don't have to fix anything on our own. Lord God, that it's already been done. We just have to trust you. God, we love you. We look to you. We expect you to do everything that you said you would do. And we expect you to show us what to do in our part. And we'll watch the magic happen. In Jesus' name. And God's people said, amen and amen. He deserves a little bit of praise this morning. Say hi to somebody you see this morning. Somebody you haven't seen in a minute. Somebody you've seen and haven't seen, but you may be seated. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Look, I don't know how it said 57 in my car on the way here when it was just 92 on Wednesday. I don't really understand that, but it happens. Yeah, that's right. He did say, but there's like 80s coming this week. Somebody needed that word. Amen. So, this week, what do we got going on this week? I know there's a faith kitchen coming up. I heard Julie talk about it, but I didn't catch the date. I think it's the 4th Saturday. We have our 25th. Thank you. September 25th is our faith kitchen lunch to our community. 22nd. It's all right. 22nd. So the 22nd, we'll be having our faith kitchen lunch here. Volunteers, you know the deal. Anybody else, you know to come hungry at 11. I don't have too much else going on. Pastor CJ talked a little bit. We're going to be kicking off a ladies' Bible study. There is a sign-up sheet in the back. I wish I could get books for free, but I can't. So they are $20. Thank you. Angelique has a sign-up sheet in the back. Books are $20. You have 3 weeks to get it together. And, I typically say if you can't do it, let me know and God will find a way. But I say this, $20 is a Starbucks, is a McDonald's trip, is a trip to the corner store, and you can get it together. And so it's going to be Monday nights starting October 1st from 6:30 to 8:30. There won't be childcare, so don't bring your kids unless you talk to me, and we'll throw them down in the basement somewhere and let them destroy. I'm just kidding. They won't destroy anything. But that's where we're going to start on Monday. I know Pastor CJ is talking to some guys about kicking off something for the men. And so the study that we're doing is just about living life in struggle and the amazing qualities of God and how he can get us through because he is who he says he is. And so it's a 6-week study, so it's not a forever thing, but it's 6 weeks, and then we'll pick up another one as time allows. But that sign-up sheet is in the back. If you want a book, sign up. You have till next Sunday to do that, to at least sign up, and then we'll go from there. So that is coming up Mondays, and it'll be great, and I think that's all I got. At this time, kids that are here can be dismissed with Pastor Chrissy, and we're about to do this thing. Amen.
Good morning, City Reach. Paul says in Philippians 1:2, what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel. Paul says that what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel. I'm going to tell you right now real quick, and just to be real with you, I'm not sure that I'm there yet. I'm not sure that I'm there in my life right now or in a season in my life right now where I can say, definitively say, that what has happened to me has been to advance the gospel. I can't say that I believe that what has happened to me is for the good of somebody else. I'm still dealing with the fact. I'm still dealing with the issues of why me. I'm still dealing with what happened to me. Now listen, I know I preach a real good message about life isn't always about what happens to you. It happens for you. I know that. But I'm going to tell you right now, I am not always the one that says this is happening for my benefit. I'm still trying to see through the clouds. I'm still trying to see through the haze. Kids can be dismissed. Why are they still here? Chrissy's still doing what? Why aren't they allowed to go downstairs? What? Okay, I've just released them from trouble. Kids downstairs. That there, right there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, this isn't rated PG today. This isn't rated PG today. So I'm going to tell you, for those of you that don't know me, welcome on this raw Sunday. I wish I had a fluffy message for you today, but it's not. It's not. Most of you know that back in November, I lost my daughter. She was 25 years old. And there's reasons, and I don't get it, and all the things that happened from the beginning to the end, and that she ended up dead. It's hard, but it's real. Most of you, if you know me, have not seen me deal with this. Most of you that live with me haven't seen me deal with this. I don't know that I have. I just have one goal in mind, and that is to press on. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I do know one thing, and this is what strives me, this is what motivates me, this is what gets me up in the morning, is that I know some very basic. I'm not a big Bible scholar. I've never claimed to have all the answers, and I just don't have the answers. I know he that does have all the answers, amen. I know he that holds the answers. I know he that posed the questions to have the answers. I'm not he. I'm just me. I already got a box. Good morning, City Reach. And morning to those that are watching on Facebook. Hey, Mario, I see you out there. I see Don today out there. Hey, good. Thanks for watching. Maybe this isn't the day you should be watching me on Facebook Live. And I'm sure that some of you out there are thinking, hey, that's a pretty rough way to start a welcoming message on a Sunday morning. Talk about a welcoming comment. The reality is, and the truth is, that in the middle of trauma, difficulties, hardships, we can't see any purpose or reason in the middle of those hardships. In the middle of difficulties, in the middle of when things are going not your way, in the middle of what you thought was the worst case scenario happening to you in any situation of your life. In the middle of that moment is the moment where things don't make sense. As a matter of fact, most of us can only feel pain. Most of us can only feel hurt. Most of us can only feel anger. Even helplessness and even hopelessness. Just want us to remember the foundation for the text of our series. As we press on and look at this pressing on message, Philippians 3:14 says, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. So why sugarcoat it today? Sometimes life just sucks. There's no way to put it. If you out here right now and you haven't had a moment where life doesn't suck, I don't care how old you are. You could be 5 years old and you turn around and mama says you can't have that toy. And right now in that moment, life sucks. My 17-year-old, we had this conversation, and it was a real simple conversation where we disagree. And I had to look at him straight in his face and be like, look, this is the first time in our relationship where you're going to disagree with me. But, however, you need to understand that I can see your blind side that you can't see, because if you could see it, it wouldn't be called a blind side. I said, you're going to have to trust that for all the years of your life, I've always had your back. I've always been in your corner. I've always told you the truth. And though you may disagree with me, this is the time in your life where you're going to have to trust me. And a time will come when you will be allowed to make that decision for yourself. But right now, in this place, in this house, you are not allowed to make that decision, and you cannot make that decision. Will you trust me? I feel that that's a conversation that God has with us many times in the middle of our drama, in the middle of our trauma, in the middle of our disagreements with God over what we can have, should have, and don't have. I feel that at times we come to God and say, God, can I have? God, please me. God, do this for me. Can't you see how faithful I've been? Don't I get a blessing by now? And God says, no. But you're going to have to trust me, because my record with you, I've always been for you. I've always been with you. I've always been in your corner. And though you may disagree with me, though you may not see it my way, I can see your blind side. And for now, no, you're just going to have to trust me. It's amazing how God uses our adulthood, and I'm talking about our adulthood. Here I am, 51 years old, just now learning this lesson. You would think I would have got this in my 30s with my first child. Hello? You would have thought that my daughter right now, my oldest daughter is 30. You would think that by now I would have gotten this lesson, and I am just now getting it because God had to teach it to me, the eyes of a father. So why sugarcoat it? Life sucks. And things are not always puppies and unicorns. It's difficult to live by faith when emotions cloud everything. I would love to sit up here and with all the confidence in the world and quote those faith scriptures because I believe those faith scriptures. Please understand, I am still a word of faith person. I am still a name it and claim it kind of person. I am still believe it and receive it and it's yours. I'm still that guy. But I'm also the guy that turns around and says, Lord, can you help my faith a little bit? Can you help? I believe, but can you help my unbelief? I don't know where you live. I don't know how you live. I wish I could turn around and be like, look, if you don't live, anything that is not a faith is sin. Hello? I'm telling you, the struggle is real. This relationship, it wouldn't be a relationship with God if there wasn't some tension in there. There's got to be some tension in there so you can grow in your relationship with the Lord. There's got to be something in you that turns around and says and challenges your own faith to say, God, I believe what you're saying, but I don't see it manifested. What do I do in the in-between? You press on. You press on. So let's pick up where we left off. The questions that come up as we take on this Part 2. Last week we spoke about making a champion. Today we're going to talk about advancing through pain. Advancing through pain. How do we press on despite obstacles, sickness, pain, crisis, financial situations, death, divorce, you name it. Crazy kids. Hello? Crazy parents. Crazy grandparents. Come on, somebody. Crazy uncles. Crazy family. Just crazy. Just crazy. Crazy. Did you say crazy boyfriends? Is that what you said? Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you went there. I don't know. I can't hear everything up here. We're being real up here. You know what I'm saying? So, crazy husbands. Crazy wives. Hello? Come on, somebody. I don't get an amen there. What? I'm by myself. Let's pick up. Chapter 1, verse 12. Now I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel. Verse 13. As a result, it has become. Somebody say become. I'll get back to that. As a result, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains. Christ. I want to deal with the word become because become lets you know that there was something that was not and now something that there is. I don't believe that Paul just walked into this prison and was like, yeah, chapter 1, day 1, in the Philippian jail, and now I have become. No, I don't believe that. I believe that there was some time that Paul had to be in prison dealing with the fact that he was in jail. Little background information, this entire book Paul wrote from jail. So that means that there was a time that he was in there before he realized, oh crap, there's a reason why I'm in jail. Because I didn't do anything to be in here, but now I am in here. It's one thing when you're selling crack on a corner and your behind ends up in jail. Your behind is in jail because you were selling crack. Hello? It's a whole different thing when you're in jail because of the gospel. To God be the glory. I do not want to start a prison ministry because of something stupid I did. Hello? Ain't nobody feeling me on this one. So you have to understand that it was a season that Paul had to go through before he began writing this book in chapter 1 to say, I have become this thing. As a result of this situation that I'm in, it has become clear that there was a moment it wasn't clear. It has become clear. There was a moment that I didn't understand. There was a moment that there was chaos. There was a moment that was misunderstanding. There was a moment that I had a struggle. There's a moment that I didn't know I didn't know what God was up to. And then it became clear to everyone else. It's funny because it became clear to everyone, to the palace guard, and then it became clear to everyone else. Think about it. When did it become clear to him? That's why I can confidently say, I'm not there yet. Some of you have had loss in your life and you're not there yet either. Hello? And if you are, then to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Big ideas we can learn from. The Apostle Paul, number one, the Apostle Paul was a convict in prison. The Apostle Paul was a convict in prison. Now, some of you are like, Pastor, why did you make this one of your points in your sermon? Because I think it's important to understand this. I think it's important because many people think they are less than of a Christian because they are going through troubles and difficulty. Some people think that because I'm going through a hard time, I'm less of a Christian. Some people think that because it doesn't look like I'm living the blessed life. It looks like I'm struggling, because I am. It looks like I'm going through issues, because I am. It looks like I'm going through life, because I am, means that I'm less of a Christian. Some of us have gotten this false mindset that if I walk on water and I talk right and I act right and I be right and I don't show my emotions, I don't share with people, I don't care about, I stay looking pretty. I shave on Sunday mornings. I put on some deodorant and some cologne so that when you hug me, I smell good, but on the inside, I'm rotten flesh because I'm falling apart. Some people think that's what Christianity is about, and I'm telling you right now, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Too many people think, and I want to tell you right now that most times, and I was dealing with this today when I was praying, when I was getting ready this morning. I was dealing with this idea, and if I don't formulate the words properly because I haven't written them down yet, forgive me, but I'm going to put it out to you raw. A lot of times, or most times, or however you want to quantify it, the obstacles that you have to deal with at the hardest of your life, the issues of your life when it comes to your own life, it's not what other people think or say about you. It's what you believe about yourself. I'm going to be really honest. Most people don't care. And I don't mean don't care like they're not empathetic, that they don't love you. I'm not talking about that type of care. I'm talking don't care from a place of being unawares. Follow what I'm saying? Most people are unaware of what you're going through in your life. Most of you are unaware of what I go through in my life. I am unaware of most of the things that you go through in your life. The only thing I am aware of is what you tell me, what you share with me. I don't live with you. Yes, I pray with you. I pray with you. I pray for you. I prayed for a lot of you this past week. Okay? But that doesn't mean that I know what you're actually going through. I don't know the trauma or the drama or the circumstances that took you to this point in your life. And it's not that I don't care from a loving perspective, but I don't care from an unaware perspective. Are you tracking what I'm saying? I don't want you to misunderstand it because it makes it sound like nobody in the world cares about you, and that's not the case. Follow what I'm saying. So in most cases, People are unaware of what your life is like. You, however, are very aware of your own life. So your perception, perspective, or the lie that you believed about yourself, hallelujah, the lie that you've believed about yourself is your own obstacle to get over. We're real good about hiding our problems. Somehow, hiding our problems, we think that we're somehow more spiritual. We look stronger. Hello? Paul, the apostle of God, servant of Jesus, messenger to the Gentile world and population, is in prison. And he's not ashamed to say it. I don't know if he's not ashamed to say it or it's just a fact. When you get caught and you end up in a situation, whether you got caught or you're in that situation, and it's public, you just got to accept it. Hello? Take a moment. When you begin to understand this entire letter is written from a prison cell, it should blow your mind. There is something to say about what they call jailhouse religion or jailhouse faith. I'm not asking, or I'm not going to ask who's been in jail. But there is something to be said about that. And it can be both positive and unfortunate. The unfortunate part about it is that some people find jailhouse religion, and as soon as they hit them doors, they're done. They left Jesus in jail. Hello? And some that find Jesus in jail, they actually have a real experience. They actually have an opportunity to be like, you know what? I need God in my life from here on forward. And it's not about trying to do right or be right. It's about a real intimate relationship with God that they found in prison. Because there was nothing else to do in prison but find God. Hello? And so that's a positive side of it. I'm not talking bad about it. I'm just saying that's the positive side of it. I've known some men that needed to go to prison. And I've known people that have gone to prison and have gone to prison several times and still come out. I mean, and while they're in there, they're like, write me letters. Pastor, I gave my heart, rededicated my life to Jesus. When I get out, I'm going to want to come to the church and serve it. Then they get out. And then I see them on the corner. Like, yo, what's up, man? You're out. Yeah, what you doing? Nothing. They tell me nothing. They're not going to tell me that they're hustling because they're ashamed. So there's something to be said. Something to be said about it. Back to my point that I want to drive home. There's somehow this mindset, this false teaching, that if you are really, really strong, faith-filled Christian, that you will magically walk above the storms of life and have no problems. Lies. We need to change that. And see, and this is the point I'm trying to drive with it as well, is that it's not, people are okay if you're struggling. Here's the truth. I know you're okay with me having life issues. If not, then I'm not the pastor for you. Go find one that doesn't have life issues. Did I say that out loud on Facebook? Yeah, live. That's the reality of it. I don't want a pastor that doesn't live life or hasn't been through life. Look, I'll talk about Rob McSurdy, one of the greatest pastors I know. I think he beat cancer like 3 times. Hello? He's been through it. He got grown kids in the ministry. Brian Cook, I'll talk about him. One of the greatest pastors I know. Not only did he come into ministry with one eye, now he's only got one leg and lost his wife in ministry. I look at that and I'm like, when that happened to that man of God, I fell on my face. Because I thought, how am I going to go on if something like that would ever happen to me? I didn't know. I'll be honest with you. You were about ready to look for a new pastor come December. Come January, you were still looking for a new pastor. Come February, you were still looking for a new pastor. You just didn't know you were looking for a new pastor. You didn't know. I preached some of my best sermons in those months. Maybe, I don't know. I think I did. I walked home and I was filled. Not there yet, but I'm better today than I was 3 months ago. Hello? Only because pressing on. Only because I've been staying as close to the word as I possibly can without getting into a fight with God. I don't know about you, but there comes some times I get in the Bible and I'm like, yo, Lord, you got to be kidding on this one. This was a joke, a misprint. Somebody got it. No, this ain't for me. This is for somebody else. Let me change it up real quick as a joke because I need to change that up. So a few years ago, I preached. I very much believe that the Bible is true. You should know this by now. That's just what I do. Okay, I really do believe that it's true. But I also believe that some promises in the Bible aren't for you, and they're not for me. One of the promises in the Bible that I used to preach, that I used to use as an example, which I can no longer use anymore. Okay, I used to say a few years ago that the promise that was made to Abraham is not a promise that is for me. That to be the father of many nations, to have all of these kids, was not for me. Just say that a bunch of years ago, when there was a big prophetic movement going on, and people wanted to name it and claim it and catch gold dust and feathers and all this other kind of stuff that was happening. Okay, so and I'm not a gold dust and feathers guy. You should know that as well. All right, I like to stay close to the word and the reality of the word. I believe in spirit. I believe in the move of God. I believe in supernatural. I believe in miracles and wonders and all that kind of stuff. But there's certain things that I just don't believe. Well, actually, I do believe, because I do believe in gold dust. I just saw it in the Bible, and it was used as a punishment to the Israelites. Hello? I don't want no gold dust. If God's going to give me gold dust, give me a bag of it so I can pay off this church and pay off my house. Hello? Come on, somebody. Don't just give me something, tease me with it. God don't play like that. God ain't into foreplay. Hello? Oh. Anyway, so told you. I may get done today. I may get done today and have to repent myself, okay? But I'm going in. So anyway, staying on track. So that was one of the things I used to talk about, use as an example, that God, that promise isn't for me. It's 2018, and I have become the father of many nations. I have sent men and women abroad that are my spiritual children that are ministering across the world. I have become the father of many, of some nations, not many, just some. Hello? So watch what promise you claim and what promises you don't claim. I just say, Lord, whatever you got for me, only the good stuff, Lord, please. This other stuff, just keep some. He wasn't ashamed to say that he was in prison. The existence or non-existence of problems is the existence or non-existence of problems in your life is not a sign of spiritual maturity. It's not a sign of spiritual maturity. Why can't we be real with one another? Why can't we be sincere with one another? I'm not talking the sincerity that's obnoxious. Because some of us will dare to turn around and say, I'm just being real. I'm going to tell you the truth. There's no love in that truth. There's no care in that truth. There's no consideration of the person that you're sharing that truth with. I'm going to say how it is. No, you are backing off, getting back to my message. Let's be real with it. Let's be honest with it. Let's be sincere with it. Jesus, the Son of God, had problems in his life. All you got to do is look at the 12 disciples. He had problems in his real life. Just as a flashback, remember the time that Jesus was on the boat? and the storm came and almost sank the entire ship. And the disciple said, Master, don't you care if we die? If I was Jesus, I would have been like, I'm on the boat with you, ain't I? So if it's my turn to go, it's your turn to go. Let's go. Hello? Confidence. Jesus says, John 16:33, he says, in this world you will have trouble. Take heart. I have overcome the world. I have overcome the world. Jesus, I'm going through it. He says, son, take heart. That what you're going through? I've overcome. Is that what you're going through? I've been there, done that, and got the stripes on my back to prove it. Hello? I've been there, I've done that. Walk through it. One time, a few times, I even called him out of the grave. Let's destroy some lies, some myths. Let's go ahead and bust out a shotgun and kill some unicorns. Marriage. Hold on tight. Hold on tight. Get out of the mindset. Get out of that fairy tale world. This ain't Once Upon a Time. I don't even like that stupid show anyway. I'm lying because at first I did. At first I thought it was pretty good. And then it just went like, that's like most ABC shows anyway. They start off really good, and then all of a sudden it's like, right in the gutter. It's like, come on, guys, you started off really good. It's a show. It's called Once Upon a Time. Google it later. IMDb it. It sucks. Get out of that fairy tale. If we were really spiritual, we would never argue. You think that if you're really spiritual, somehow or the other, and you married? Oh, no. Some of you got married so you can stop arguing. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you right now. Kaylee, stay right there. You need to listen to this too. I'm going to tell you right now. If you dating and thinking about getting married and you arguing, you better have some good conflict resolution before you get married. Because once you do get married and you got papers, yeah, you got papers. People don't talk about having papers no more. I'm going to talk about having papers. And you got papers? That negrette or negro needs to go understand you can't just run around and do whatever it is that you want to do when you want to do it, however you want to do it. Because I got papers. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Y'all don't want to talk to me. No. Oh, you going to listen to what she said? Yeah, I'm going to listen to what she said because the Bible tells me I got to. And I love her. She going to listen to what? She better listen to what I got to say. I'm the man. I got the pants and I wear them. Hello? Because she lets me. But anyway, that's besides the point. See, as a man, you have to understand that the strength and confidence that you can have and do have only comes because the woman that's got your back has got your back. If you beating down the one that's behind you, holding you up, being the man, you've lost your perspective of being a man. Y'all don't want to talk to me about this stuff. Y'all, you really don't want to talk to me about this stuff. I ain't got time in this message. Now, granted, please understand, the more we mature in Christ, the more Christ-like we should be. The more Christ-like we should be, the more Christ-like we should act, then the more harmony and unity there will be. Hello? Let's look at Peter. Peter turned around and was with Jesus. Peter, the eldest of the disciples, considering, as I've taught you before, that the disciples were probably teenagers. But the eldest, we know that he was one of the eldest because he was married. Remember with the whole mother-in-law getting healed? I don't know if Peter liked that or not, but it happened. Y'all need to read your Bible. There's some good stuff in that Bible. There's some good stuff in that. I love my mother-in-law. In case she's watching. Peter. Come on, let's stay on track. That mic is picking everything up. All right? We clear now. So watch what you're saying. It's right above your head. But if you turn around and look at Peter, Peter was with Jesus for a very long time, for most of his earthly ministry. And when Peter turned around and challenged Jesus and said to Jesus, no, you can't go. I won't let you, whatever the case is. Jesus' response was, wait a minute. We got a problem here. Hold up. Get behind me, Satan. Now, Peter, understand what I'm going to tell you next. Hello? Times that Jesus had to bring correction. There were times there was conflict there in those relationships. Jesus was always right. You ain't. At least I got a couple of amens. Who you talking to? I'm talking to you. If you dare to say to me who you talking to, that's probably a message for you. 1 Corinthians 7:28 tells us, but those who marry will face many troubles. The Bible tells you you will face many troubles if you marry. That's my kind of crazy. Hello? Get it right. We are still two people, two personalities, two set of desires. I could and would eat rice and beans every day. I would eat beans on top of rice. I would eat beans in rice. I would eat beans on the side of rice. I would eat different types of beans. I would eat Roman beans. I would eat pinto beans. I would eat guandules. I would little shy on the garbanzos. But hello? I would eat rice. Look, I would eat yellow rice. I would eat white rice. I would eat brown rice. I stop at the wild rice. Hello? Because that's something. I've never been in Dominican Republic. And nobody's ever served me wild rice in Dominican Republic. I don't think it's wild. I think it's all wild there. Hello? In my house, 18 years growing up under my mother, not once was the rice ever brown if she didn't intend it to be brown. Hello? Soy sauce on that, then we call that fried rice. Who would eat rice? Who does eat rice every day? Come on. No? One? I remember somebody, I think it was my brother, in case he's watching. I remember my brother one time got in a fight with one of his many ex-wives, talking about how he's got to have rice with every meal. Hello? I'm like, you know what? I get it. I can eat rice every day. Spaghetti and rice, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. We used to have un poquito de locrio with some spaghetti made like locrio. Hello? Right? We turn around and put chicken cacciatore in spaghetti. That's the only way I can describe it for you American people to understand it. It's like stewed chicken inside of spaghetti. Who does that? I do. We do. I don't do it. My mom does. Anyway, you're taking me off track and I'm hungry now. With me, eat it every day. Just give me a side of meat. And I don't care what the side of meat is. It can be chivo. It can be chicken. It can be beef. It can be, look, the other day we had alligator, so bring it. It tastes like chicken, for real. Now, Joy, on the other hand, she won't. She won't put up with it. She will turn around and she will picket the front of the house. She will buy a banner. She will put up a big old banner and say, no, and she will march around in front of the house. No more rice. No more rice. No. When my mother comes, there's a moment of fasting for her. Because she's like, I cannot eat rice no more. Take me to China buffet. She wants potatoes and pasta and vegetables. Only vegetable I understand is tostones or mango. Maybe some yuca. Hello? Nobody talking to me. Nobody talking to me. No, 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 no. Yautía, yami, those are real vegetables. Lettuce? Why waste your time with lettuce? Oh no, let's go back. Let's get back to it. Number 2, our spiritual maturity is measured by our response to our problems, not the absence of them. You may have done that up there, but I didn't do it in my notes. That's okay. I know where I'm at my notes. I also know what time it is. Hello? If we look at Paul, Paul didn't respond by cursing the situation. He says, you okay? Here you go. Okay, we're good. Glory to God. Ralph actually said something in church. I was scared. Paul didn't curse the situation or whine about it. He might have at first, or at least thought it. But he turns around and he writes, because this happened, the gospel is advancing. He found the purpose in the midst of the chaos. Back to Philippians 1:12. Now I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel. As a result, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains. Christ. I don't get it all. I don't understand it all. I don't fathom it all. But I do know this, that I am currently a bondservant for Christ and in chains. My chains restrict me to do things that I'm not supposed to do. My chains restrict me to not do things that others can do. I'm a bondservant of Christ. I don't understand it all. I don't get it all. And there will be a time that we'll be able to say, this didn't happen to me. This happened. I'm not there yet. But I do know one thing right now, right here in this place. I am a bondservant. That means I am a slave. And for us that are of this color, we don't use that term lightly. I am a slave for Christ and unashamed of it. Is anybody tracking with me? I'm not your slave. I'm his slave. Let's get it straight. I know my master. Just saying. Here's a myth. The more spiritual we are, the less problems we have. Everyone faces problems in life. Can I get one loud amen? Except for pastors, right? Number 3, instead of asking why, we should be asking what? Instead of asking why, we should be asking what? What is the next step? The why is too much for me to handle, too much for me to understand. I don't get it, don't know that I ever will until the day I'm face to face with Jesus. But what is my next step? We get absorbed with the why God, the why me, the why now. Paul could have said, Lord, I heard about your deliverance of Peter in Jerusalem when the angels led him out of prison. Why not me? The moment we begin comparing our journey of faith with someone else's journey, we let the enemy in. We allow the works of the flesh in. We allow jealousy in. We allow doubt in. We allow unbelief in. We allow wrath in. We allow bitterness in. We forget that we are his favorite and start believing that somebody else is. That's why the thou shalt not covet rule still applies. Because if I'm so focused on your blessings, I'm going to miss out on my own. God has to take me through a different journey than he takes you through. Because what I got, you don't want. Trust me. Hello? What I got, you don't want. And we ain't talking about STDs. Hello? Come on, somebody. We open the door to discouragement. What? Can you say that again? We open the door to discouragement, which then defeats our faith. When we allow those types of covetousness, when we allow those types of issues, when we start looking at what you got, wanting what you got, that's when we get discouraged because we can't have what you have. And then that's when we start talking about you. That's when we start fighting with you. That's when we start backbiting you. That's when we start figuring out a way to get what you got that don't belong to you. I don't want to talk to me. The why. The why never changes your circumstance. If anything, it makes you sit in the pig pen longer than you need to. The why. Okay, let's get to the prodigal son then. The prodigal son. He's eating. The father gave him all the blessings, whatever. Gave him his part of his inheritance. He went off. Everybody knows the story. And he ate his money. Ate it, drank it, had fun with it, if that's called fun. Can I get one amen? You understand what I'm talking about, the story? Okay. So when he comes to the end of his rope, he's turning around, he's eating pig's food. He's eating pig's food. He's down in the pig pen eating the slop that the pigs are eating. If that ain't the bottom of the barrel, I don't know what is. Could have asked the why all day. He could have challenged himself and asked, why did I leave my father's house? Why? Because you were too stupid in the beginning. Because you were too self-entitled in the beginning. Because you had a mindset of a king's kid that thought that you could go ahead and make these decisions on your own and you weren't ready to make those decisions. Because you thought that now was the time to go have fun. I'll answer the why. It's easy to answer the why after the fact. It's not easy to answer the why in the middle of it. I know there have been things that I've done that I look back at and go, whew, I shouldn't have done that. When I look at the whys, I'll tell you. The one letter. It's a one-letter answer that it revolves around the why. That is I. Because it all revolves around me. What I want, when I want it, how I want it, the speed I wanted it, and the time I wanted it. I'll tell you that. Most of my whys for the decisions I've made have all revolved not around somebody else. Look, I'm good. I'll even turn around and I'll even frame it like it's for somebody else. But the bottom line, probably 99.99999, probably because of me. My selfish desires, my wants, my needs. The what brought him answers. Excuse me. The why? Why did he leave his father's house? Why did I spend all this money? Why did I go do what I do? But if he would ask the what then brought him answers. What do I do now? Some of you that follow me on social media, the other day I posted. So simple. Yesterday's gone. The only thing I can concentrate on is today. The whys of yesterdays are gone. The what of today is what's important. I can do something about today. I can't do jack about tomorrow either. Hello? What do I do now? I will go to my Father's house, and at least there I can be a slave. Yes, we can always learn from what we did, said. I appreciate my son and some of the things that he's said to me in the past. And one of the things that I really a few years ago that he said to me that kind of like mind blown moment, because that's not how I was. I'm a guy. I learned the hard way. I learned through experience. I learned through heartache. I learned through trouble. I learned after I've been beat up a few times. That's how I learn. Um, and he said to me one time, he said, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't recall exactly how he said it. But what he said is, I see what other people have been through, and I've seen what their decisions have brought them to. I don't want to be like them, so I don't choose like they do. That's mind blowing. That you can actually learn from somebody else's actions. The question is, what do you want me to do now, Lord? The what? Paul, in the midst of your own pain and crisis, in the midst of his own pain and crisis, writes letters to the churches you have planted, encouraged them, and challenged them. When he asked the Lord, what? The Lord was simple. Write the letters, churches, encourage them. That was his what? In the middle of all his drama. What? What leads you to victory? Why? Keeps you in park. Keeps you in park. Why leads you to victory? The why keeps you in park. Park being the metaphor that you have a car that's in park. Paul's crisis, number 4, Paul's crisis inspired others to their mission. Look what he said in 1:14. Once again, and because of my chains, most of the brothers and sisters have become confident in the Lord and dare all the more to proclaim the gospel without fear. I saw him do it. He's going through it. I'm willing to take a chance to do it like him. Let's keep reading. Philippians 1:15. It is true that some preach Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill. It is true. The latter do so out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for me while I'm in chains. Listen, before we move on to 18, sometimes when you're going through it, some people are going to talk about you. And all you can do is go, like it can get any worse because of what you got to say. Hello? Really? You got power and authority to beat me down more than I can beat myself? Get that out of here. But what does it matter? 18. But what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true, Christ is preached. And because of this, I rejoice. Yes. And I will continue. I don't care if you're preaching Christ out of selfish ambition or out of sincere love. As long as Christ is preached, I rejoice. Truth be told, if you're doing it out of selfish ambition, I ain't hanging out with you anyway, so I'm not going to know. Yeah, I said it. Number 5. When we are attacked with the pain and trials of life, when life has its way with us, when we're feeling like the obstacles are too great to overcome, then you must find the purpose to celebrate. You must find the purpose to celebrate. Number 5, celebrate. The purpose. The important thing. Christ is being preached all over the land. In the midst of the darkness, keep the light on. Stick to what you know is good. Stick to what you know is true. Stick to what you remember still had purpose. In the midst of what I've been through, the only thing I can stick to is to the things that I know are of God. I could have grabbed the bottle, gone to the bottom of that bottle of that bottle, and stayed there. And nobody would have faulted me. Nobody. Nobody dares to say amen on that one. Because if you've been through what I've been through, you would know it's true. I could have ran off, ran away. I have the resources to do so. I could have turned my back on everything that I knew. I could have. And nobody would have faulted me. Going through it, it's going bad. The entire world is upside down. When the thing that you thought never happened to you does, that moment, hold on to, press on to. Remember, pure. Remember to be God. Remember to be loved. Those things you hold on to, and those are the things. What did I do? I have a family. I loved deeper. I loved harder. I loved more. I held on tighter. What did I do? Kept on coaching. Love them stupid kids. Love them. Deeper. Harder with them. After that, just kept on doing. Kept reading my word. Arguing with God. Preaching every Sunday. As the Lord gave me strength. I saw your faces. And I see life change. And I see my purpose for my calling. And I got to baptize people. And I got to hear testimonies of people. And I got to eat with some of you and hang out with some of you. I got to help some of you. I got to do what God called me to do. And in that, I still have purpose. Because I press on. Not there yet. I'm in my press on stage. I don't get it. And if Jesus and I were in a room right now together, I'd go fisticuffs. Let's go. He'll win. Oh, that's right. He already touched my hip. I don't know the story. Remember Jacob wrestled with God? I won't let go. I'm going to have to touch the other hip so I can walk straight then. Midst of darkness, keep the light on. I don't need to be a prophet, and I don't need to see the future, and I definitely don't want to be negative. But in the next 7 days, something's going to go south. Something is going to go bad. Something is going to go wrong in your life. It may not. Chances are, something will. Something is just not going to go your way. So in the midst of that darkness, find something to lift your hands up and rejoice. Why? Praise always sets your heart on the answer, not problem. Praise always sets your heart on the answer, not the problem. In school, if the teacher asks the question, what do the children or what do the students do in class? They raise their hands. They raise their hands because they know the right answer. That's why we raise our hands in church. We know who the answer is. We know the answer. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, Jesus will always be the answer. Why could Paul rejoice? Paul could rejoice because when they tried to shut him down for preaching the gospel, it ignited a revolution within the hearts of the people. When they tried to shut him down, shutting him down caused other people to get excited for the gospel. What the enemy meant for evil, God turned to good. Look what Paul says in verse 19. For I know that through your prayers and God's provision of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, what has happened to me will turn out for my deliverance. I eagerly expect that hope that I will no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient. I want you to I want to pause right there for a second. I want you to look at how Paul writes this. And because some of us, we look at Paul as and he is super spiritual faith giant. I look at Paul as a man. He says, I expect and hope that I will no way be ashamed. He says, I'm hoping that what I'm doing isn't going to be shameful or I'm going to be embarrassed of it. We all go through that. We all go through that faith challenge that says, you know what, I hope that what I'm going to do right now, I know I did. When I walked in this pulpit, when I spoke about, past few weeks I've been praying on this, and I thought about coming in this pulpit and sharing with you where I'm at. I said, I hope that when I step out of here, I still hope that when I step out of here, I'm not ashamed of what happened here. Might be that STD joke that maybe was over the top. But hey, I eagerly expect and hope that I will no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death. Paul says, I hope I have the courage. I hope I have enough courage. This problem is going to advance the gospel and God's deliverance. This problem is going to advance the gospel. Paul, in his mindset, said, one way or another, I will press on and I will win. And the devil cannot stop me from winning the prize that has been. What way or the other? I'm going to press on. And there is no hell, there is no demon, there is no thing in this planet in hell or in any other place that's going to keep me from winning the prize that he's afforded me. Because the day that I come to meet Jesus, whether I'm right in standing or in wrong standing, I'm falling on my face and asking for mercy. I don't know what theology you believe. I don't know if I happen to meet Jesus today, and I feel like I am not quite right, I'm just asking for mercy. He said, please, man, look at the blood. Don't look at me. Look at the blood. No, don't look at me. Look at the blood. Please don't look at me. Look at the blood. I hope for you to have the courage to continue the fight and to press on. Which leads us to our last point of the day. Number 6, a setback is a setup for a comeback. Paul could have sat in prison and said, well, my ministry is over. I'm closing up shop for the Lord. Just bring me home now, God. I don't know about you, but there's been a couple of times in my life where I'm like, okay, Lord, can we go? Little rapture now, Lord, let's be done with this. No, he said, this momentary setback, I may not get to come and preach to you in person, but I'm going to inspire you from my jail cell. If I can do it, if I can live for Jesus in here, surely you can live for Jesus out there. In the midst of chaos, confusion, letdowns, pains, I will live my life for Jesus, for real. And if I can do it from here, you can do it there. If we can all do it, see the type of revival that we read about. I have time, and I thought about it, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to summarize it because everybody knows the story of Joseph. If you don't, jump into Genesis 50. At least read the end of that story. Real simply, in Joseph's life, his brothers, out of jealousy, sold him into slavery and faked his death to his father. Years later, he has now been exalted to the number 2 guy in the kingdom, or for all practical purposes, in the empire or the world, known world at that time. They show up, the brothers show up asking for food during a time that there was no food. And Joseph responds in Genesis 50:20. When the brothers were scared that Joseph was going to do something, when they recognized that it was Joseph, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done. To accomplish what is now being done, saving. You thought that what you were doing to me, you thought the evil that you were doing to me was going to destroy me. God took what you did to me and used it for a bigger purpose. And now I'm sitting here saving, literally saving. It was through Joseph. Joseph is a type of Messiah, type of Christ, a type of deliverer. That through Joseph, God saved the world and provided for the world to be fed. His family. Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who no, for the world, right? For everybody, right? No. Quit telling people this is their promise. This ain't for them. If you don't love Jesus, this promise ain't for you. People hate when I say that. I'm just telling you what the Bible says. The Bible says, and we know that all things good, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified. What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? You got to understand who you are in Christ. You got to understand your love that you got for Christ, because those that love him have a promise that says, God is for me. What you got? Oh, Pastor, that's kind of arrogant and cocky. No, that's just confident. Romans 8:37. In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For I am convinced that neither death nor life, neither angels or nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of Christ. Neither angels or nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ. Neither angels or nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate us. I'll call this a hashtag. We used to call it a pound. Neither angels or nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth,
I'll call that an exclamation point. We call that a bang.
Will be able to separate us.
I'll call this a hashtag. We used to call it a pound. Pound bang. I'm done. Drop the mic.
Neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth,
I'll call
nor
that an
anything
exclamation
else
point.
in
We
all
call that a
creation
bang.
will be able to separate us.
I'll call this a hashtag.
Finish reading.
Pound.
I would like for you to
Pound
finish
bang.
reading
I'm done. Drop the mic.
the chapter 1. Read chapter 2 in preparation for next Sunday. I really want to just finish saying is finish reading. Some of you are in the middle of a major setback in your life. Some of you are really going chapter 1. I don't ever, please, chapter 2 in preparation. I don't ever want to minimize that in your life. I know that. I know you're going through it. I know you're. Some of you are in the middle of a major setback in your life. I don't know that you're going through it, but I do know that you go through life. I don't ever want to minimize. I don't know how deep or how traumatic or how I don't, but I know that you're going through life. I don't know that you're going through it, but I do know that you go through life. And I think that maybe your next step. I don't know how deep or how, and you're confused about what your next step should be. I don't, but I know that you're going through life. The questions you've got to ask yourself is, what can you be thankful for? And I think that maybe what can you rejoice about? Or how, and you're confused about what your next step should be. I want to encourage you to press on. Press on. Questions you've got to ask yourself is, get up and fight. What can you be thankful for? And I think that nobody's going to fight for you about. And you've got to get up and fight for yourself. I want to encourage you. You'll have a couple of people that will hang in there for you, but you've got to get up too. Get up and fight. Got a couple of prayer warriors that are out there holding boundaries up for you, but you got to get up and fight. Mano a mano. You'll have a couple of people that will hang in there for you, but you got to get up too. Get up and fight. Got a couple of prayer warriors that are out there holding boundaries. You're here today, and you got to bow your heads with me. You got to get up and fight. Mano a mano. You'll have a couple of people that will hang in there for you, but you got to get up too. Some of you today that got a couple of prayer warriors. Maybe you're just hopeless. Maybe you're in that helpless state. You think the pain you're going through is God punishing you. I'm here to tell you that's a lie. You need to understand that not only does God love you, but God is love. Don't know that, and you contest that, you don't know the definition of true love. You have a man-made false expression of love. God being love and God being God cannot be described. Jesus came so you can have life and have it to the full. It's time to stop asking the why and start asking what. What are you going to do? Be saved in this place right now and still be rejecting God's love. Angry with God. Trying to push God off to the side. But I want to tell you, the choice is yours in this moment to reject God and His love, accept it. Knowing that accepting it simply means that you're going to have to work it out with Him. Stand up with me. more scriptures in here if you want to go through that and read those. But that right now is a good place to stop. I'm excited. I believe in faith. I hope that this message has encouraged you. I pray that my transparency has helped. Don't do that easy. I'd rather keep my shield up, keep my defenses going, not because of what you think of me, but because of what I think of me. But I hope that I'm encouraged to be able to take a position and stand that would say, even if they kill me, even if it kills me, I will not waver. Because I know that I will win. I know. Not because of what I've done or can do, because of what he's done and already done. Death is not defeat. We used to say, they hurt me, you can heal me. Kill me, I'll be with Jesus. Lift your hands up towards heaven to receive a blessing from the Lord. As you go today, I pray that you are encouraged. Press on. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Father, I thank you for this message, Lord God, and I pray that anything that I've said today, Lord God, that may have discouraged or been a hindrance for anyone, Lord God, I pray that you would erase those words from their minds, Lord God. And I pray that the words that you have allowed me to use, Lord God, have encouraged you today. I pray grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of God and Jesus our Lord, as his divine power has given to us all things that pertain to life and godliness. If you have received anything from the Lord today, please give him the praise offering that he deserves. Hug somebody on your way out. Bless you as you go. Enjoy what's left of your Sunday. Glory to God. Got some background music there,